Record, we are at the 11 o'clock agenda for reduction hearings. If you're going to be speaking to me about a case and you weren't not sworn in when I swore in the folks at the 9 o'clock agenda, I do need to place you under oath. So if you'll stand and raise your right hands, please. If you're able, thank you. Do each of you swear or affirm under penalties of perjury that your testimony today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. You can all have a seat. When your case is called, come up to the podium over here to my right. I'll get some preliminary information about the case from the city, and then I will come back and let you tell me about your request for a lien reduction. Once I've heard everything from the city and from you, if you have any additional documents you want me to look at, that'll be the time to show them. And in all likelihood, I will enter an order today that grant some relief in some form or fashion. So I guess we proceed in the order that folks signed up. So let's go ahead and get started.
Okay. Other matter number 2, CE 18040215, 1211 Okeechobee Road.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Case ending in 2-1, sorry, Mitch Posner, Code Enforcement. Case ending in 215, 1211 Okeechobee Road. Date ordered 6/20 of 18. Fine started 9/19 of 18. Ran for 155 days. Total fine $15,500, $100 a day. Date of compliance 2/21 of 19. Same owner. There were a total of 14 properties that we were checking throughout the lien reduction process under their ownership, accounting for 80 cases with the city, so we do have some history. This is the only one with the lien. They have complied as it went along until they had some issues with this case. Based on the history, the city's asking for 50%.
I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. Did you say 80 cases?
Yes.
Okay.
80 cases on the 14 properties going back, several years.
Okay. All right, let me hear from the applicant. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thanks for hearing our case this morning. Edward Schrader. Just to give you a little history of the property and the violation. So we purchased the property back in, I think it was the end of 17, and we purchased it. It was in pretty rough shape, disrepair. We were actually in the middle of renovating it when we got the violation. I believe it was actually John Murphy, Officer Murphy, who's no longer with the city. So he reached out to me and gave me the violation, which I coordinated with him, and we were under complete understanding that through the renovation of the property that these would all be handled, and which they were. The last violation was on there was, I think if you see on there, it was, there may have pictures of it, but it was essentially kind of weeds along the fence. So basically it was an admin error. It was an error on our side. So when I found out that it was still outstanding, it was when I reached back out to the city, and I got Code Officer Mike Williams, had him come out, and we complied the violation. However, it was I think, as Mr. Posner said, after the original comply date. So there was some transition between Code Officer Murphy and Williams. Again, that was not the city's fault. That is our fault, an admin error. So, based on the nature of the violation and the fact that we're, and I think Mr. Posner and Code Officer Williams would agree with me that we're good landlords, and we take a lot of pride in our properties. We've got three other warehouses just down the street from this that we've put a lot of money into. We're very proud of. This particular property that is in question here, we purchased, like I said, we purchased it in somewhat disrepair. We ended up putting about $200,000 into it. It's one of our premier properties. Again, I think that Code Officer Williams would certainly agree. I know that Mr. Posner isn't out in the field per se, but I've communicated with him a good amount. I think they would both agree that we are good landlords. We're invested in the city of West Palm Beach, not just in this neighborhood, but throughout. We've got, as he said, at the time we had 14. We've sold a few of the smaller lots, but we've developed new multifamily in the city. We're in the process of developing another 100-unit multifamily building. We are cooperative with the city. Again, anytime I've spoken to Mr. Posner or Officer Williams, we want to cooperate. We want to add to the city of West Palm Beach, and I think that we do that. I think they would agree that we are bringing something good to the city. And essentially, this was an admin error. Again, our fault, not the city's fault. It's our fault. It was an admin error. But based on that, our history with the city, the nature of the violation really being weeds along the fence that were taken care of. Unfortunately, it was a lapse on our side in the timing, but it was taken care of. The building looks beautiful. And I know that there are some costs that the city is going to incur, that the city will, incur for this case, and we want to recognize that. But we feel like we'd like to ask the fine to be reduced to $1,000.
Mr. Posner, did you want to respond?
Yes, sir. There's two major sides on this. The case history itself doesn't speak well. It speaks more to a reactive owner rather than a proactive owner. But we've had a lot of contact with Mr. Schroeder. I do believe he's certainly going to be proactive on preventing violations moving forward. Throughout his lien reduction process, which has taken a while because there were numerous issues on the various properties. So it's not just this that he's improved in the city. He's put time, money, and effort into those other properties as well. So on that side of it, it speaks very well for this.
Okay. All right. Anything else, sir?
Just again, thanks for listening to us today. I want to tell Mr. Posner, thank you very much. Officer Williams isn't here, but we have worked closely with them, and they've been of help to us. So,
All right. Thank you both.
This is the owner of the property. Okay.
By all means. Just tell me your name and address,
Yeah,
sir.
I'm
and then
Neil
you can-
Kozakov. I'm the owner of the property, Your Honor, Officer Posner. I just want to point out that although we do have many cases over the years, we're talking about over 20 years, and we have a habit of buying older properties, which we improve. So it kind of comes with the turf, and if you look back at the history, we've always been very compliant, and I just want to put the number of historical violations in the context of a very long period of time and overall what we've done for the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any
I
response?
agreed. It is over a course of many years. No disputing that whatsoever. But as stated, we'd just like to see them as proactive for these violations rather than reacting to notices after the fact.
Understood. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. In this case, we have a lien of $15,500. Based on everything I've heard, I will agree. The city's recommendation is a reduction to 50%, which is just under $8,000. I'm going to reduce this to $5,000. Can you pay that within 30 days? Okay, within 30 days. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good day. Vans.
Okay. Other matter numbers 3, 4, 7, and 8 are the same address. 4610 Broadway. Case number CE 18100-428, CE 16080249, CE 17120292, and CE 17120293.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to do these chronologically oldest case first.
Yes.
Case ending in 249, 4610 Broadway. Date ordered 9/7 of 16. Fine started 9/18 of 16, ran for 16 days. $8,000, $500 a day. Date of compliance 10/4 of 16. I'll say it now for the record, all of these are new owner.
Okay.
He inherited the liens when he bought the property. Case ending in 292, 4610 Broadway. Date ordered 1/3 of 18. Fine started 1/14 of 18. Ran for 24 days, total $24,000. $1,000 a day. Date of compliance 2/7 of 18. Case ending in 293, 4610 Broadway. Date ordered 1/3 of 18. Fine started 12/24 of 17. Ran for 1 day, $1,000. $1,000 a day. Date of compliance 12/25 of 17. Case ending in 428, 4610 Broadway. Date ordered 12/5 of 18. Fine started 1/7 of 19. Ran for 17 days. Total $1,700. $100 a day. Date of compliance 1/24 of 19. The total of the 4 liens is $34,700. As we stated, new owner. The city's asking for just for the standard 25%. There's extensive case history, if you can see that between the lines of what's in front of you, but they weren't ascribed to him. He inherited the property, and actually, I know he's put some money into it, but he's had to jump through several hoops to get the property in shape to come to a lien reduction. So again, just standard 25%.
All right. Is this the, just the or the paved lot? Is that what we're? Is this
It is simply a paved lot. It used to be a very broken up paved lot that we received almost daily complaints on with the activity going on there. Most of those complaints stopped once he purchased it, and he worked towards stopping the rest of the complaints after he purchased it.
So what, did you have like people pulling up in their pickup trucks selling stuff out of the back of them? Is that what was going on before? It's all pet lot.
The owner, who still lives in the house adjacent to the property, continuously rented out the property without a license to a mobile vendor who was also unlicensed, and would leave the equipment there daily, which a mobile vendor can't do. So there were just continual complaints, violations. As a matter of fact, that's why some of these were $1,000 a day, because the city was just unable to get compliance on these issues. The other factor was there is a Family Dollar across the street.
I saw that in one of the
And
pictures.
oftentimes people are trying to park there, and it's not a parking lot, or park alongside it, and that's a right-of-way, not a parking lot. And those are also additional complaints. He repaired the concrete, which was a requirement of the property to get here, and he resolved the parking issue by putting up a fence.
Okay, let me hear from the applicant. Sir, if you'll tell me your name and address, and then you can tell me about the request for the lien reduction.
Good morning, my name is Aquilino Miguel.
Let me get you a little closer to the microphone so I can hear what you're saying.
Good morning, my name is Aquilino Miguel Roblero, 4610 Broadway Avenue.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. No, if you can you give me a discount, I pay, and that's all.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Yeah, if you give me a discount and on it, I have to pay, whatever I have to pay, I have to do it.
So you purchased this in October of 2017, is what I'm seeing, is that right?
Yes.
And then tell me what you did to bring the property into compliance, how much it cost you and what you did.
So, well, I fixed the asphalt around 40 grand, and the fence is like at 12,000.
I could barely hear that. 40,000 and 12,000, he said?
Is that what you said, 40,000?
And repair the asphalt
And that was, you said 12,000?
and the fence.
So about a little over 50,000 is what you put into
Yeah,
it?
and I take the water. They cost me like 7,000. but
And there's been no issues since all that was done, is from the city's standpoint in terms of the code enforcement problems?
Yes, sir. Correct.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me, sir?
sorry?
Is there anything else you would like to tell me?
No,
From the city's point of view, you know, you've got the one that's at 24,000, and then the other three are, and there's one at 8, and the others are pretty small. Do you, is there a preference to,
It can
Throwing some
go,
of
it can
them
go
out.
all on one. I don't see any reason why it couldn't.
that's what I was, if you're okay with putting them all on one?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Special
So,
magistrate?
for the sake of,
Sir?
Yeah.
I think the clerk wanted to comment on that.
My only comment is when it goes to 0, we automatically release the lien
for the whole thing?
for the 3 that are zeroed out.
Right. So is there any,
So if the other one is unpaid, the other 3 have already been released.
I'm not sure I understand the relevance.
so you'd have 3 liens that are released right away, and then the fourth one that would have the amount left to be paid?
Correct.
Oh, in
But
other
if
words,
it-
if they don't pay, those have been released. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
I was unaware of that issue, so maybe we shouldn't zero any of
Okay,
them out.
I mean, I know we had talked about that.
Even
and
if we do just $1,
I'm fine with
Case.
however you want to do it.
Yeah, we should make sure the liens are still there until everything gets paid.
That's fine. Like I say, I was,
Thank you.
yeah, okay. Well, so in that case, let's just say, I'll just go down the agenda. Agenda item 3, which is the case ending in 428. The lien on that is $1,700. We'll reduce that to $10, payable within 30 days. Agenda item number 4, which is the case ending in 249, the lien is $8,000. We'll reduce that to $10, payable within 30 days. Agenda item number 8 is the case ending in 293, which is the $1,000 lien. Again, we'll reduce that to $10, payable within 30 days. And then agenda item 7 is the case ending in 292, which is the lien that is at $24,000. Based on everything I've heard and kind of how this has progressed, I'm going to reduce that one to $3,000. And can you pay that within 30 days, sir?
sure.
30 days. Okay. All right.
Just to confirm, that was 3,000, 10, 10, and 10.
So really, it's 3,000 and then 10, 10, and 10. Yeah. So
2010, okay.
Other matter number 6, CE 19120174-724 McIntosh Street.
whenever you're ready, good morning.
Good morning.
Case ending in 174, 724 McIntosh Street. Date order 25 of 20. Fine started 4/6 of 20. Ran for 84 days. Total 12,600. $150 a day. Date of compliance 6/29 of 20. Same owner. Case history is this was the only case under their ownership. Mitigation is they live far away and didn't realize there was a violation. Of course, that's still their responsibility. Based on the lack of case history and the fact that they are the owner that caused it, the city's asking for just 30%.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead and tell me your name and address, and then you can tell me about the request for the lien reduction.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Lindsay Wilson. I am the daughter-in-law here to represent my mother-in-law, who is Rose Wilson. Me and my husband currently reside in the house with our son. So she bought the property for us, but it's still in her name.
Okay.
My husband got sick about 3 years ago. He had a heart attack. And then the year after that, he had a blood clot in his leg. He wound up having a partial amputation and 11 stents put in. Currently, he needs to have 2 complete knee replacements, a rotator cuff he needs to have done, and he also has to have back surgery. So I am the only one that's been working. So it's really put a lot of pressure on myself because my husband is unable physically to do a lot of the work, which, you know, he would keep up the property. We've both had a lot of, I would say, depression because of what he has gone through. It's been very hard. We were unaware of the lien because we were aware of everything else. My husband was dealing with Richard Pasmino. And this was when COVID hadn't really, you know, started yet. And then it was after, I believe it was the end of February, my husband had spoken with him. He said as long as everything stays up to date, we work on it, you know, he would be fine with that. He'll, you know, call us. My husband had tried to reach out to him a few times after February. We never heard anything back, which was not his fault. We should have taken the responsibility to call into the office and speak to Mr. Posner if we, you know, couldn't get a hold of Richard. And we actually didn't know there was lien against the property until we had gone to refinance the house, because we are planning on remodeling the house, you know, having all the stucco work done. So, you know, all of the repairs that we've done to the house were actually things that we were going to have done with the refinance. So at that point in time, the refinance company wanted to pay the lien. And so my mother-in-law had called me. I had gotten on the website. I had looked the property up and said, yes, there is a lien against the property. So that's when she stopped, because we didn't want to finance $12,000 worth of liens against the property. So that's pretty much, you know, the entire story and the truth on the matter. So, I mean, we would ask, you know, to be at the mercy of you and the city if we would just be able to pay admin fees, just because my mother-in-law has already been out so much money to help me and my husband, you know, get through our everyday lives and pay our bills. So we don't want this to fall on her.
Sure. All right, thank you, ma'am. Is there anything else from the city?
Certainly, the city is sorry for their troubles, absolutely. We were unaware of any of those mitigating circumstances. They weren't on the application. But again, there is no extensive case history here, so we're asking our lowest ask of 30%.
All right. In this case, we have a $12,600 lien. The city's recommendation of 30% would put that at $3,780. Based on the testimony that I've heard from both the city and the applicant, I'm going to go ahead and agree to reduce this to $1,800. How long will it take you to pay that? Can you do that in 60 days?
My mother-in-law is currently, she went to the hospital this morning. She has COVID, so she's going for, I guess, whatever treatment Donald Trump had had. So if I could ask for 60 days, just because we don't know.
I have no problem giving you 60 days.
Can we make that 120, sir?
Beg your pardon?
Can we make it 120, just to be sure? 120 days.
Oh, okay, let's put 120
Just to be
on.
sure, because we're talking COVID in these times, there's just no telling what's going
Good
to
point.
happen.
We'll put 120 days on the order. That gives you 4 months.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
You're
welcome.
welcome. I think we have one more.
Other matter number 1, CE 09020645 725 42nd Street.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Case ending in 645, 725 42nd Street. Date order 6309, fine started 7709, number of days 482, total 48,200. $100 a day, date of compliance 11/1 of 2010. The applicant is the previous owner, but the owner that incurred the violation. 11 cases under their ownership.
So there's a new
Still has
owner-
6 other properties, and all totaled, there's 52 cases under their ownership with the city.
So there's a new owner now, but this is the owner that had it when the violations occurred.
Yes, sir, Mr. Karan or Karen, I'm sorry.
Karen, fine.
Mr. Karen owned the property at the time of it. He has sold it with the lien still there, but as the prior owner, he is the applicant. It still crosses, attaches
Gotcha.
to him and his other properties. Where was I? Right, the other properties totaled 52 cases. And actually, this one was sold with violations. We wound up having to cite the new owner rather than it getting resolved during the lien reduction process. The city's asking for 50%.
Thank you. Yes, sir, go ahead and tell me your name and address, and then you can tell me about the request for the reduction.
Yeah, hi, Your Honor. My name is Louis Karen. I'm the owner of 725 42nd Street.
Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
These, unfortunately, I don't know why. I purchased this property in 2011. It was a ramshackled house, which I went in, fixed it up, put about $30,000 into it. But this lien was from 2010. A bank had owned the property, and for some reason, it didn't come up on title. I don't know why, because I would have dealt with this lien a long time ago. It just came up. I basically put the property under contract. I went and as when I put it under contract, the title company picked up this lien, so I had to deal with it. So I went in front of. That's why I'm here now in front of the lien reduction. But I had no clue this lien was here. I went back to try to track down the title company I bought it from in 2011, and of course they're nowhere to be seen. So I'm sort of dealing with the bank's lien from 2010.
So when you bought it, it was Old Port Properties LLC?
Yes, I put it in another entity.
Okay. And that was May of 2011, according to
Yes,
the,
yes, but this was owned by the bank in 2010. I didn't own it at the time.
oh, I see the bank had it from October 2010 until you acquired it in May of 2011.
Yeah, exactly. And I would have done something with this lien if I knew it was there. I had no clue it was even here.
Okay, understood. Any
Two,
follow-up, Mr.?
two corrections. One, my apologies. He is correct. He bought it with the lien intact. However, a correction on part of what he said is he's aware we had an issue a few years ago with lien reductions with him, and he separated the properties to different LLCs before the city had changed the code to tie in the different LLCs. But at that time, he was advised 2 years ago about the lien on this property, so he was made aware of it before the contract. I have no reason to doubt he didn't know about it when he bought it in 2010, though.
Well, I would have, because I had a couple other lien reductions 3-4 years ago.
Yes, sir.
When I found out, and I would have taken care of this immediately, because these things hanging around, they're just,
Oh, and also, Magistrate, the city would like to reduce his ask to 30% since he did not own this property when the lien was caused.
Understood. All right, so we have, anything else, sir, that you'd like to tell me?
no, that's good, Your Honor, thanks.
So we have a lien of $48,200 that actually was on the books before you bought it, and then you bought it, did work on it, sold it, and the lien somehow made it through all of that without
10 years.
anybody catching it, which isn't unheard of.
But thank God it wasn't compounded.
Right.
I'd be given the house.
I'm going to reduce, based on the circumstances, well, let me ask you a question. When you bought the property, what did you do in terms of, you told me that it was ramshackle and you fixed it up. Tell me a little bit more about what you did.
Well, basically, all of Northwood Hills in 2011, probably half the neighborhood they all went through foreclosures. So when they did that, the banks most were out-of-state banks, so they sort of tried to keep up with them. But people would break in the back doors, they'd steal all the plumbing, they'd put holes in the wall. I mean, all the housing stock was in really bad shape. Thanks to Mr. Posner and a lot of the inspectors now, the neighborhood has totally changed.
And this was all back during the foreclosure crisis.
Exactly,
back in the-
2010. I mean, it was, you wouldn't know these neighborhoods between then and now. It's incredible difference.
Okay. All right, I'm going to, so from $48,200, I'll agree to reduce this to $8,000. How long will it take you to pay that? Can you do that in 30?
I'll pay it right now.
Okay, I'll go ahead and put 30 days on the order, but that'll take care of that.
Thank you,
Okay?
Your Honor.
Thank you very much. I think that's it until our 1 o'clock special set.
Yes, sir.
Pardon me? Yeah, let's go ahead and go off the record till 1 o'clock.